I started stream without a microphone plugged in. That's always fun. All right. Let's see. We're getting started here. Slightly less awkward than yesterday, but how are you all doing today? Also, thank you to Demolroy for shouting me out. I just was lurking on his stream right before we started, and I realized that I hadn't actually followed. So gave him a follow, chatted with him a little bit, and he shouted out the channel. So today, we're going to be continuing with our headers. We're on, let's see. We're on the headers lesson itself. Sitsu, hello. How are you doing today? Ooh, I need to switch over to my YouTube view in case any of you are over there. Okay, Restream bot is working, but as we saw yesterday, it kind of sort of works sometimes, and then the rest of the times it is in this weird like delayed or doesn't work state. So that's not good. But yeah, it's Itsu. Good morning. How's your day going? How's your Thursday? Let's see. Okay, so we have some headers. All right. Extracting headers. Okay, so you're doing okay. You're still working on a migration from SQLX to CORM. Oh, like you're migrating your migration, or you're migrating everything? I'm curious what you feel about migrations in CORM, because like I have thoughts about it. Just all the old queries. Okay, I do like ORMs for like ease of use. Like it seems like it works really well in like just sort of like making sense world. Like I find it's a little bit easier to sort of like read what we're doing with it than like longer SQL. But also SQLX has some nice features. That's nice too. There's some missing functionality for joins, but you do miss the safety of Yeah, that's one of the things that I really like too, is like that safety feature. That's really big. And I kind of hope that that becomes a thing in like all of the query libraries. Like no matter what you are, like if it's like it's CORM, like do like practice run the query beforehand. That would be really cool. Kirby, QAQ Kirby, or just Kirby. Hello, how are you doing today? You don't miss writing 100 queries to do the same thing, but slightly different. Maybe Diesel is the middle ground. Well, I mean, Diesel is also an ORM, so it's just like different syntax, but the general idea is the same. It has been around a little bit longer though, so it's possible that Diesel has more features than CORM. I do remember when we were building the YouTube course for Axum, Diesel was like infinitely more difficult to set up than CORM. That's why we end up going with that. You believe the query building part is type safe in a way that CORM is not, but a lot more limiting. Oh, okay. So like it's always give and take. It's always give and take. someday we're going to have one that's actually just like everything that we want. And that will last for like, you know, a year before somebody comes out with an even better one. We're in the web dev era for Rust, I feel like. Which like do all of you remember there was a point in time where like a new framework that was actually compelling and good came out, like multiple of them per year. And there was a lot of like framework fatigue. There was a lot of fun stuff. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted that. Also, wait a second, you can't see. I switched profiles while the display was on, and so apparently it didn't see my desktop change. Hold on. Okay, that's worse. There we go. We're good to go here. Matt, hello. How are you doing today? Good. Casually building a web app with React and Axum. Nice. How are you enjoying that? You hate UI. Server side works fine. It's something that I told students, because like students at the courses that I was teaching, they would always start like diving into like one or the other. And it was a full stack course. Hey, wanna come up? And it's always like I hate like front end. It's like, okay, you've been developing for like 3 weeks. It's too early for you to say that you like or hate front end. Okay, that's a good video of Zoe's feet. Ah. Okay. Maybe he'll lie down. So like the big thing to me that I like constantly try to say, and this comes from my mentor, which like he was a backend person too, until like he truly embraced the full stack at the front end of it, which is, how many times can we say that we like hate like something before we realize that somebody else is gonna be able to take a job that we want because they didn't hate it and they can do everything we can do. So I think it's more of like the language type thing, right? Like it's like, okay, maybe there's like what are ways we can trick it so we don't have to like lean full in. Like there's all these tools we can use, right? Like for example, if you're a front end person working on back end and you're not super big on that, you don't have to like learn everything about SQL. Like an ORM is really good. Like you can get a lot of projects done with ORM. Things like that. Yeah. Good. Let's see. Ditch React, go HTMX. There is only server, mostly. That's the other thing is like you can still do a lot of tricking, but like yeah, good looking front end is still like a good thing to know how to do. But like there's so many front end frameworks for like CSS, use those. Like absolutely just use the heck out of those. Yeah, I know, but I'm using a lot of different third-party components. I don't want to create all this myself. Yeah, and that's the other thing is like you have, if you don't want to create it yourself, you have to like use all those other things. But like you can let you do all the things. Lunatic, hello. How are you doing today? I didn't realize that YouTube had emotes just like Twitch does. You got this emote. That looks cute. I like it. Is that why I make such slow progress? I have to build everything myself. I mean, that's the thing is like we don't have to build everything ourselves, but there is a fallacy in for us developers is that like when we like something, we often want to build it ourselves for a lot of different reasons. And that is a dangerous mindset to have. Not because like it's a bad mindset to have, it's probably better for like the quality of the project in some cases. Oh no, you have to. Oh wait, are you working for an industry in which you have no choice? You have to re-implement everything because you're not allowed to use third-party code that's not vetted or like SOC 2 or something like that? That's the other thing. Sometimes you don't have a choice. I remember there was a lot of people freaking out. Oh no, you just hate everyone and everything. Okay, that works. That works. Pixel Esports. Hello. How are you doing today? And also, good morning, Unreal Realities. How are you? You heard that software engineers typically work 80% on legacy code, so when we get a chance to actually build fully, we take it. That's very true. Plus, also, there's a lot of it's like sometimes we work in organizations where like it has to be vetted, right? So one of the things about like a SOC 2 or ISO 9001 or like some of those, or like FedRAMP or any of those other like sort of big things that companies have to do, like bigger companies, is one of the controls usually is validate that all open source software that you're using is good code. And for like a large project like Axum, that's really hard, but like, okay, we need to use Axum, so like, okay, well, we'll do that. We'll do a code review or like just look through it and like we'll do some scans. But then you start realizing how many projects you're pulling in, you're like, this is gonna take forever. So like, okay, it's actually faster and cheaper therefore to re-implement a bunch of the small stuff yourself, and just like, because then you run all your controls for, then it's your hired developer controls as opposed to your vendor controls. And that's good to know. Or you can just pay GitHub a ton of money, like $2,000 a month to or $2,000 a year, I think, to do all that for you. $2,000 a year, that's what it was. Pixel, you're doing good. Awesome. That's good to hear. And you're looking forward to this course. Thank you. It is slow and steady progress is what I would say it is. So it's I feel like it's I'm trying to like make it for like, okay, you can get value out of me building it here. Like this is, I keep on joking that this is the free tier, right? ETA, like I don't have one right now. This is the plant. So we are right here. But if we come up, like, this is all the stuff that we have in it right now, which is good. But then down here, this is all the stuff that we still have yet to do. So it feels like we're about halfway through. So like if I can like actually like get going and like do this properly and not get myself like too many delays, I could probably get it done within the next couple months, maybe in 1 month or so. But like I don't know. I don't want to give like specific dates out and like set expectations and then just break them. Basically I don't want to be like a AAA game dev and like, you know, force myself to crunch and then deliver a subpar product. I don't know. That seems too high level. Got to start with building your own OS, to build your own browser, to build your own web server, to build your own web app. I mean, of course. Wait, are you using a pre-made CPU? You draw the line at hardware. Oh, fun. It's like real programmers like solder everything themselves and make. I mean, how slow would a homemade CPU be in comparison to like a professional CPU? Like that's like you wouldn't be able to do anything. It's like, okay, screw the 3 nanometers stuff. Like my CPU is like 1 centimeter. All right. Here's a route handler for extracting a single okay, actually, you know what? And then you need to support the full instruction set. Oh my god, so much work. Yeah. Well, yeah, that there's a reason why the more complicated of the project, the more you just vendor that out. It's like it becomes cheaper to just throw money at somebody else and say, solve this for me. Rust is your first programming language. You're learning Rust since 2022. Nice. How are you enjoying it so far? Or get a map. Oh, okay, and search through them. Let's take a look at extracting a standard header. Content type. Would it be content type? What's a header that everybody has? Let's actually go take a look. This is headers. So I have my health check here. Oh wait, no, this was a different server. This is extensions. Never mind. I don't want this one. You're loving Rust, and now when you look at JavaScript, it feels hard to you. Interesting. I'm curious about like what is hard to you about it. Is it like hard because it doesn't have like really good like a type system, or is it hard? Yeah, I'm curious what that means to you. All right. Okay, here we go. Let's we're gonna do a cargo new. This is gonna be a lesson on Axum Headers. Okay, so we don't have anything here, do we? I guess what we can do is let me start. Nope, don't want that. Don't want it until there. I want it down. I guess it's a little bit below Zilby. That's not great. Oh, you know what I can do? I can do this, the pop-out window. Do you think you should learn Golang? So I guess, what's your goal? Like, what's the end goal? Because like learning languages is great and all, but like we don't learn languages just to learn languages, right? We learn languages to like do a thing, like so to have something happen. That's staring at a bright white light. I'm gonna point that down at Zoe's face. There are two Brooks, yes. Okay, for Axum, we're gonna add in Tokyo. We need error. We need tracing. So let's see, Tokyo. Oh, we need Axum. With headers. And I think is that it? That might be it. I should like at some point in time like note this down and get it going, but doing it by memory just like solidifies it in my muscle memory, which is a good thing. Okay, so I'm just gonna behind me. I'll just like create files and do that stuff. That's fine. Oh, I know what it was. It was tower HTTP. We need that. Okay, I think that's working. And then I need to, before I forget about you, we need to, actually, I might have this already set up for it. So let's find out. Okay, so go link for backend stuff. Like when you look at it, Rust ecosystem is not for someone whose first programming language is Rust, or am I doing something wrong? I'd say like the only reason why Rust is not good for like a first programming language in Rust right now is twofold. First, there's not very many good like teachers, not many good like mentors who know how to help somebody who's learning their first language in the Rust ecosystem. I haven't had a chance to sort of like figure out how to do that yet. I have like I've been letting it steam. Like there's a lot of things that like I think could go in there. I think that Rust can eventually be a very good first language, but we need more educational resources set up for that. Second, it's really hard to find a job that's not senior level in Rust right now. You can find mid-level jobs. Junior Rust jobs is usually like junior for Rust, not junior for programming. It's sort of like expected that you're at the very least a mid-level developer in something else, and then you're going to learn Rust on the job. That's sort of like the expectation right now. So those two things make it really hard to like recommend Rust to like a new developer as a first language, unless you're doing it for fun. If it's a hobby like that you're doing, then yeah, absolutely. Look, whatever language is just fun. That's all that matters. But if it's for a job, then the answers change because like it may or may not even be Go. It sort of like depends. So is it hobby for you, or is it a job? Like you're gonna try to find a job for with whatever language they're learning. Art Winnin, thank you so much for the subscription. 2 months strength too. Thank you. And hello there. How are you doing today? I'm doing the same thing. I'm going down one. I want to go down two. There we go. That's it. I already have that. So this is okay. Address equals. Oop, nope, didn't do the, wait, what am I doing? This is all wrong. I guess I can do that. That's fine. This is not fine. This should be there. You're doing good, Artwinen. Awesome. That's good to hear. Is he an update? Restream bot. Really fancy when it works. When it works, yes. So we're doing a we're doing Restream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time. Which the stream part works fine. What doesn't work fine is the bot. So like I have to have I have YouTube chat down here and I have the other chatter over here, and then I have to check both of them because it breaks often and quickly. I did a Rust refresher yesterday. You finished half of the Zero to Mastery course. We'll probably finish the rest tomorrow, and then you'll move straight to my sequel one. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned that you're sort of like jumping back into it. Yeah, if you have any questions about any of those, feel free to ask them in the community too. Zilly managed to move it so that he loves to move it so his butt is facing the camera every time. We want to see his face. Oh, you can see me in the background. You also spent way too much time completely reworking your nvim config. Nvim is like a black hole for time. It is one of the reasons why like some people have asked like, why don't I go back to nvim right now? It's like because it's working the way it is right now with Helix, and therefore I don't want to black hole that. I want to get stuff done. And it's like, it's rude for me to like get people hyped up for something and then not work on it. If it's going to be slow building, at least a little bit of progress every day would be nice. Or at least every weekday. Nvim is the best editor for editing nvim config. That's for sure. Oh, that'd be funny to like, okay, well, we're gonna use one editor to work on another editor's config, and then another editor to work on the actual code, and we're gonna use that inside of another editor. Like you can do that with VS Code. Like you could use VS Code, and then just open up the terminal all the way up, and then run nvim inside of that. Which, if I remember correctly, is what is a requirement at GitHub. When they released code spaces, they mentioned that it's now a requirement to do all development in a code space internally for them. So there's a blog post about that. And they basically say like, it doesn't matter, like if you want to use nvim or vim or whatever, we don't care. Go ahead and like use that, but like VS Code is the way to get into the code space. So you have to use VS Code, and then you can just like ignore everything else about VS Code if you want. You should do that during your next technical interview. Open nvim and code. I mean, there's no reason not to, right? Like whatever makes sense for you. That being said, in an interview, you probably want to like ask them, "Hey, is it okay if I use like NeoVim?" Oh, do you not? Oh, it's in a wait first, and then I can do that. Right. Okay, we got a thing here. Then I want you. Okay, can I find env? Oh, that would be the next thing. It's for hobby, but you're hungry to learn a lot of stuff. Like I was trying to make a tool that intercepts data via proxy, something like Burp Suite. Okay, so if it's just a hobby, then try everything, right? Like try a little bit of different stuff and like just like whatever feels good. Because like that's all that really matters. Like you're not having to be strategic around it. And if you don't like it, then you could just switch to something else. So yeah, in that case, like there's no problem with Go. There's no problem with any of the languages, really. Go is very popular. There's a lot of tutorials and libraries and everything else out there. So you should be pretty easy to find whatever you need to get stuff done. You're trying to make a tool that intercepts data via proxy, something like Burp Suite. I'm not familiar with Burp Suite, but the Go was one of the use cases of Go has been cloud development, and so because of that, like anything networking is going to be good with it. Although I haven't programmed with it, I just rely upon other people telling me what they do with it, and it seems like there's a lot of cloud, a lot of cool stuff, like including networking. And if the interviewers say no, you'll just use VS Code with NVim inside of it. It would be hilarious. Do YouTube friends also see our messages when it doesn't break? So right now, yes, YouTube friends see your message. So as long as Restream Bot doesn't break, which it breaks like most streams, it feels like eventually at some point. Okay, we want our let app equals, okay, so I want to create an app. Oh, no, I need Tokyo. Okay, so you are now running as a server, but I'm not getting the tracing stuff, so I probably need to do that. or not. Okay, so I exported the rest log equals debug. I ran that. Burp Suite is a desktop application. I don't know about Golang, but in Rust, the desktop UI ecosystem is underwhelming at the moment. So if you don't want to do a website for the front end, check also the available UI frameworks. That's true. That is true. Even like the UI framework that the UI system that I would use would be Tori. But Tori is also just sort of like web. It's think of it very similar to Electron. So it allows you to write a web front end for a desktop application, which is really, really, really nice. But if you want to stay away from web, obviously you don't want to use that. Interesting. Okay, so this is the first time that I've tried putting the tracing subscriber in it in new. I was kind of hoping that would work, right? It's like when I do my Axum server bind. Okay, let's try a tracing. Oh, okay, so tracing is working fine. Go has great UI frameworks. Fine is probably the most popular one. Oh, interesting. Nice. Good to know. I tried out Iced for a bit, and while I like the idea of using messages, it became hard to maintain with nested views. And Go is a TUI framework that raised 6 million investment. Can you imagine? Charmed. I am not happy with. So like, I would much rather use open source libraries that are just created by the large companies like React, Angular, things like that. I am not happy with my open source frameworks. Maybe not even open source, like raising investment money because I feel like it doesn't end well. Like they end up trying to make up for that investment, right? Like think of it, the way I think of it is like it's not an investment. Like they didn't make $6 million, right? They took a $6 million loan that now somebody 10 years from now is going to want $600 million to have been made from that. That's a hard ask for a library or a framework or anything. And how are they going to make money on it? Like they're going to have to charge some way. Like they don't take investment money to just put it out there for free. Bubble Tea is open source. I don't know what licensing they use. Yeah, licensing, I should probably pay more attention to the licenses that I use. I don't very often. Okay, so let's do um we'll do header files based upon what we're doing. It's like we'll do one typed header. Oh, Bubble Team is Charm. Okay, I didn't realize that. Yeah, that's okay. So it's an open source project that's raised $6 million in investment. I What other projects have made, what other open source projects have actually like successfully had like done something with that? I'm not sure I know of any that like I still want to use. Um oh, wasn't like Vercel is one of those? Like they've been doing okay. They took investment money. But everybody else is like, eh. Also, Stacking, hello. How are you doing today? And Artwinen, have a great day at work. So let's see. We want a I think it's actually simpler. I think we do like just a header, typed header. Oh no, it is just the normal way. Oh yeah, let's get the user agent. That's good. And so then can I debug this out? I can tracing probably it. Okay, so if I curl this, I for 1, 2, 3, 5, 7. What was this again? Typed header. This was under debug. There's so many debugs. User agent is curl 8112. Okay. You know what I want to do? Switch you to just info. Oh no, that didn't work. Why not? Why are you unhappy? The extractors are magic in Axum. I watched John Gingset's video on how these work. Mind blowing. You're right. I did use. You're right. That was so silly. Silly me. I was like, I'm gonna switch this to info, and then I completely forgot to do one step before testing it. That's what I wanted to do. There we go. There we go. Okay. Now it'll be a little bit easier for me to see this. So I'm actually not sure what type this would be. This is like shell? Wait, did I not copy that? Oh, I did copy that. Okay. So thank you for that, Isid too. That was not good. The extractors are magic and Axum. So yeah, they make sense though, right? Like because they're not they're magic, but they're not like black magic. They're not like the deepest, darkest macro magic of all time. It's just more of using good use of traits and using good use of like wrapper structs that all implement a single like trait type. And it's just like, oh, if you do that, you get like really close to dependency injection without having to do craziness. And it's like, oh, this is cool. I really like this. For your GitHub bot, you wrote a custom header for use with typed header and then wrote a custom extractor to validate the webhook signature and only return JSON if it matches. That makes sense because then you can just validate, yeah. Another thing that you can do, and a pattern that I prefer a little bit more than that, is a middleware pattern. So like imagine you have a middleware that extracts, that gets the webhook signature, validates it, and then allows it to pass through if it's good. So it doesn't even hit your route handler unless it's valid. It's not forbidden black magic, but if you don't know how it works, it seems pretty crazy. Well, isn't that everything? Like if you don't know how like anything works, like if you don't know how a car works, a car is black magic. You open a hood and you just see a bunch of like, well, these days you just see, you know, a bunch of like sort of flat surfaces and you're like, I don't know what's going on in here. There's like things I can pour stuff into, but it's all magic. But yeah, so like I guess that's true too. It's not the darkest of magics because with a little bit of investigation, it's fairly easy to sort of figure out what's going on. The darkest of magics would be something like a macro that then uses another macro and therefore is going to take you like days to like figure out what the heck it's doing and then eventually just give up because it's too much effort. Gas goes in, it makes a controlled booms, boom, and then you get to places. Yeah, that's what happens. You cause explosions when you press something with your foot. And then those explosions propel you forward. If you describe a car like that, they sound much scarier than they are, or maybe they actually are scary and we don't think about it. You consider using middleware, but it was a natural progression from having the logic in the route handler. It might end up as middleware, but you only need it for this one route. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Do you know the pattern to like use it for only one route? It's really cool. You could, on this route here, for the get, so like in between for this get here, you can do a route layer. And you can put a middleware in there. So you can basically write your code in a one-time use middleware there and just have it apply only to this one thing and not anything else. I like that a lot. Is it standard headers? Do they have yeah, I think these are them, right? It's like, can I get this one, for example? Device model. You did something similar. Yeah, multiple router news for different parts of the app and then combine them with merge and the common layers to merge the router. It's a really flexible system. It's super, it absolutely is. It reminds me a lot of the flexibility that Express has, which is one of the reasons why Express like raised to the top so quickly and then stayed there for so long. It's only now that people are recommending that you don't use Express anymore. Actually, let's look back at this. No, this will be fine. Oh, wait. There's a better choice here. Do you have a list? Okay, so, oh, headers. That's where I go. Not multi-part like that. I want the oh, none of these. I want the module headers. Where's the mod? Oh, there it is. Maybe? There it is. This one. Okay, so here's all the headers. Did they use a name for this? Common headers. Okay. And this is re-exported from Tower, right? Or is this oh no, from the headers crate. Let's see. Is this going to be a free course? No. So, my sort of, I say it's sort of like in tongue in cheek, but like it kind of is true at the same time. The free tier for this is like the streams and the VODs. So like I've been putting all these VODs on YouTube. So it's not like fun. It's not easy necessarily, but you can like go back through and sort of watch everything as it all comes together and as I write the articles. And it's like that's the free tier. And then I'm gonna put it up on the LMS for sale. So like this is gonna be a fairly large course, so it's gonna be more expensive than the SQLX course that we did. I haven't figured out exactly what the pricing is going to be yet, but we'll figure it out. And then I want to, because this is like starting to get big enough for like my real plan is I want to run like an actual live session with it, where it's like, okay, a bunch of us all get together, and then we'll do like, I can do like one-off lessons, like walk people through it. It's like more than just office hours, and then that would be like the third tier of cost. So free is like come to the live stream, and then just buy on your own for like mid-level, and then expensive is you get me and a cohort of people and we all go through it together. So that's the plan. Yeah, I've always been in an opinion that there should always be a free tier for like a lot of educational stuff, because like what if you don't have the money for it? Like there's that instead of money, you now pay in time. That's like that it still costs you something, it just doesn't cost you dollars, if that makes sense. Collins Mara, hello, big fan, thank you. How are you doing today? Isn't there a headers map? Oh, wait, is it this? What's the extractor look like? I thought it was header map, but maybe it's headers. Oh, it is just headers. It is just headers. Okay. Well, hold on. Okay, so there is a headers extractor. Isn't it? Is it just an HB? No, it has. That's the types. Oh, I'm back into H. I keep on leaving Axum by accident because like they re-export / like use so many other things. Okay, so I think this is it, right? Okay, so let's not whatever that is. Okay, so you're good to go there. Let's now create a new file. This is many typed headers, or we'll call this like Yeah, many typed headers. Duddy, good afternoon. Hello. How are you doing today? You're doing great, Collins. Awesome. And good to see you too. Maybe interesting for you, the most problems I had getting started with Axum was the return types from the handlers. Most of the old handlers in my code have impl into response because I didn't know any better, and the tutorials I looked at did not really provide good explanation of how to choose good return types. Impl into response for your types. Yeah. So you need an impl into response for your types. So I have, let's see, where do I have it? Response. So I have a custom. Did I only do that with the assessment? I could swear that I had a lesson for the actual response. Oh, but maybe we haven't done it yet. Around there, custom success, custom error. So what is it? So with this one, so go through, okay, like how to return. So starting with returning a status code, and then we move into returning like a status code with JSON. So like I don't start here with like how to do like impl into response. I then eventually go into it to like, hey, if you don't want to use one of these things, you could just do this, and you can do that. And like showing the 3 different ways to do that, if that makes sense. Collins, what is that editor? This is the Helix editor. So Helix, which if we take a look at it, this is the Helix editor. It's really nice. I like it a lot. It's a lot simpler than NeoVim or Vim, which to me is a good thing because you can't get sucked down the rabbit hole of like all the plugins and everything else, because you can't. Like literally, you can't do it. So there's so much time you can spend customizing it before it's like you run out of it. Now you have no choice but to be productive. Let's see. You're in a world of pain with generics and closures, but finally got there. Ugly, but works. Yeah, it's like it's one of those things for, oh, what is it called? Axum has a lot. Axum lets you do whatever you want because it's like unopinionated, which like there's still opinions in there, but there's so many different ways to do it that there's a lot of foot guns included, which is not great. So like I've recently heard that impl into response is a foot gun, probably because you can return anything from here, and therefore you can very easily create an inconsistent API, which reminds me, I should probably create a lesson for like, that's not really going to go in here. It probably would go at the bottom of like that, like a API design, and like just in general what that means. So perhaps like before we get into everything else, how servers work, it should be around here. So we could just do API design, like API design. Something like that. And then this is where I would say like, hey, create like some kind of struct that you're going to respond with, and then impl into response on that struct. And then you're good to go. Let's see. Pixel Esports, you want to ask something. Why do you think one should use Rust for front end rather than using React or other frameworks? There's a couple different reasons for that. And there's also a couple of reasons for not doing that. It's sort of like there's a lot of it depends here. So if we're coming from like a company's point of view, and you don't have a team that knows Rust at all, like there's no Rust developers, then it's not a good idea at all to run Rust on the front end. If it's like you're solo and you want to learn Rust, then doing a Rust project for a front end is a great idea because you learn a lot more Rust and you learn another way of using Rust, which is great. And then let's see. There's a benefit to having a extremely strong type system on front end because front end is going to be changing a lot. Potentially, one of those like source citation needed, but I don't have one. I feel that front end has more changes that happen to it than back end because like that's the interface. Like salesperson or somebody comes up and says like, hey, our app is really hard to use. It's hard to make sales with it. Can you like make it easier? That's a front end change. And having a good type system is going to help make those changes. It's going to help us do that. There was also an article which I did not, I wish I had saved it. Oh, wait, didn't I save it? I put it into Discord. Yes, and I think this is the white paper for it. So this came out recently. Does this have a date on it? I don't see it having a date. I want to say this came out recently. They're referencing things from 2023, so this year sometime. But the thesis of this, the abstract, is that now this is only for vulnerabilities, but one would assume that it's also going to help with other, not vulnerabilities, but like other bugs too. So 70 times less likely to introduce vulnerabilities for first-time contributors to like from a language like C++. Now, this is not really saying much from like JavaScript, but the idea is that Rust, like if you can't push code unless it works because the compiler won't let you compile it, there is a much higher chance of like you having less buggy code simply because of the compiler being more strict. So that there's this theory here which is starting to be researched. So I'm looking forward to more of these papers coming out that would potentially give us like the backup of, oh hey, this is a really good idea and this is how it's going to like help out with that. So this is another reason to like potentially use something like Rust on the front end. So there's a link to that paper in case you're interested in reading it. It is a white paper. White papers are fun to read. They often put me to sleep. But yeah, that's my answer to that. Dottie, you found this an interesting problem, which you also solved with ugly code. Well, solved ugly code is better than not solved amazing code. So what is this? This is Red Ghost. So okay, you grab it from a game object. What's the what's the problem? That's a different link? Was it not what I opened? That's what I opened, right? Oh, there's a better one. Okay. Here's a new link. Let's try this one. I was gonna say, like, that looked like Pac-Man. All right, so we have FN nothing. Interesting. I've never. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. So yeah, foo, which you pass in a message, which is a string, and then a option F, which you're not. Okay, where you are binding, F is an FN1 string to string. Okay. That processed equals match processor. So foo, so you pass this in to string FN nothing and it just does nothing, right? Or you can be something that does it. Oh, interesting. So it's basically you can pass it a function that does nothing or a function that does something. You can't just use an option FN once and say, I don't want to pass a function. Interesting. Okay, so you have to pass in something, but then does this compile? Perfect. Okay. So my brain immediately went to, can I wrap that FN nothing with a struct? So like, can I say something like struct, I don't know, nothing, and do something in here. Put that in there like that, and then we'll import the dereference. Oh, I don't get any help with this, which sucks because I don't remember dereference off the top of my head. Okay, so basically, impl deref for nothing. So to deref this out whenever you use it, right? So like you just star it or something. And then also impl. Oh, wait, no. This would not be that. This would not be that. This would have to be like an FN. You put this in here as the type, right? So hold on. This would go in as the type for this. So impl deref for nothing, and then also impl default for nothing. And now you could essentially have now you can essentially have the thing become what you want and then dereference it out to get it. Uncomment the commented one out. Okay, so you would like this solution where you pass in none, and it won't work because even if you're passing in an option, that doesn't work. But it yells at you and says, can infer type of the parameter f. Can you do something like this though? Oh, you start running into that problem. That's gonna be fun. The problem is that the generic and none doesn't know what the T and option T, so you'd have to. Yeah, okay, so I try to do that. Yeah, it does feel ugly. It's like these are the types of things where like it's probably me not knowing enough about Rust to like be able to come up with better ways to do it. I like keep on feeling there must be a way to do it that's like nice, but then whenever I run into this type of thing, I usually just like, okay, let's just like program more to make less. Something like that. Physics, hello. How are you doing today? I think you can with new type plus take parameter into your FN. Oh, okay. So instead, like go the opposite way. Instead of an option to do it, make it turn into it. Wait, you can do that kind of thing. Hold on, let's back to here. You can like impl. You can impl like a trait on a box, right? So if I have like a trait, my thing that has like a pub function, or it's not function, not pub, like function, create the thing, like I don't know, toString or whatever, to my, or whatever that is, like my closure, self, or even like you can take ownership of it, like self it, and then this becomes the function. Can I implement this on a box? Box option like E, where then you then, or F, where then you then do the for. Maybe something like that work, because like a box is special and you can impl things for boxes. Maybe, possibly. I don't know. Does it need to support capturing closures, or can you just use function? All good questions. You need to capture for your project, but you're still interested in see what answers others have, even without capturing. Yeah. Good questions all around. Scott, hello. How are you doing today? It is 8:30. I need to head off. I'm actually going to go get my COVID vaccine today, in preparation for the holidays and all that other stuff. So I need to run off and go do that thing. Let's take a look at who's streaming right now. Kuvaman is streaming. We haven't rated Kuvaman in a while. Let's. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I just you got here and then we're about to end. Man, set that going. So anyways, thank you everybody for hanging out today. We got some stuff done. We made forward progress, and good conversations. So with that, I'll be back. So assuming that the vaccine doesn't, knock me out, I will be back later today, this afternoon, around 2:30 p.m. Mountain Time to continue working on the headers lesson. So with that, we'll see you next time. Bye.